Dave Palumbo here with RxMuscle.com. We're here at the 2014 NPC Nationals. I'm here with Chris, the technician Aceto, and Tad, the diet coach. And we're going to be doing the final wrap-up of all the festivities here in Miami, Florida. What a great show. Almost 1,000 competitors. Tad, 950 to be exact. Lonnie Teeper emceeing once again after all these years. You know, we got, before we get to the competition, we had a couple of interesting things occur. Peter Potter got the Steve Stone Lifetime, I guess, Achievement Award. And, you know, Peter Potter's been in the sport for 30 years in Florida here, or maybe 40 years it might be. And I think it was a great award to give to him. He deserved it. He works tirelessly every single year at the show.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to see the sport really award contributors like that, significant contributors in the industry. I think it's important to remember those kinds of things.
Chris, this show is so exciting that the Rock was here. WWE superstar The Rock was here. He was sitting right next to me, and I shook his hand, and right after I shook his hand, a missile hit me, and George Farah intercalated himself between the two of us. What was that? Did you see that?
I don't know what intercalated means, let alone insertion.
Did you feel the blowback when he landed?
I didn't. You know what? I thought we were in either we were on a movie set or in a Miami. Didn't The Rock play for Miami football? I thought we were in a football game when George came crashing down. I think he wanted to keep you from The Rock.
Yeah. And you know, the interesting thing also is about this particular show is that I thought, you know, last year we were talking about how bad the conditioning level was. This year, the conditioning was sensational. I mean, there were guys in the last call out with striated glutes.
I know. I kind of felt like maybe some of these guys saw that what the condition, what the guys were looking like last year, said, "Hey, I'm jumping in this show this year.
I'm going to come in shape, right?"
Right, exactly. There's pro cards here.
You know, what amazed me is that Peter McGuff over at Muscular Development said that he actually wrote an article called Miami Soft, saying this was the softest lineup he had ever seen. What do you think is going on over there at MD? They have like weird glasses they're wearing over there?
You know, I have to say that I was really impressed with the level of conditioning. I mean, it tended
in all the classes.
In all the classes.
Down to the bantamweight.
In all the classes, and in a lot of the classes, there was conditioning with fullness. I mean, there was really a lot of people nailed their peaks, which we haven't seen for a long time.
Sure.
You know, I think it fell off a little bit in the heavies and supers versus the other classes, but overall, yeah, it's typical. But overall, what's atypical is that the level of conditioning here was absolutely fantastic, and it made for the show. You know, it made it really exciting because as an aficionado, not to use a Spanish word, Miami, but as a fan of the sport, you know, it was exciting to see people who you don't even know just look like pros and who aren't getting pro cards because they're third and fourth.
Let me interrupt because aficionado might be the right word, because down here in Miami, we had the first ever Puerto Rican men's overall champion, Alexis Rone from Johnny's little colony over there in Puerto Rico, comes in here, dominates the super heavyweight class, wins the overall, and gets his pro card. I mean, the excitement level from the audience was astronomical.
Yeah, well, you know, as I was looking down the competitor list of all the different classes and divisions, there was a lot of Puerto Rican, you know, competitors, and they all came in shape. Like, there was something going on over there that we don't know about?
Well, Alexis Rone brought a level of conditioning, fullness, muscle maturity that we have not seen in quite a while. He has to be one of the better national champions we've seen. Chris, tell me about what you thought about him as a bodybuilder and what his future might hold.
I think he's a great bodybuilder because of what what you just said. You use words not just density and hardness and condition, but shape, roundness, and maturity. And I think all of those things together make him a decent force to be a good pro right off the bat. I think if this guy can really bring a level of conditioning that is like to the next level, then he will slam the door shut in at least one Europa Pro show this year.
Speaking about Alexis Rone, I mean, he was obviously the superstar of the show. I mean, I'd like to know your feedback on what you thought in terms of his level of maturity he brings to the stage and how he will fare as a pro moving forward.
Well, I think his shape and his symmetry is really, really good, but I still think he's probably going to need a few more pounds because he was one of the lighter supers. And
he was 232. Don Long was his coach. Don said he'd like to put another 10 pounds on him by next year.
The heaviest guy on the stage in the supers was 272, I think.
280.
280. Oh, 280. So
he may have been the worst.
He may have been one of the lightest guys.
I mean,
but definitely not the worst.
No, he wasn't the worst. Now, you know, we talking about Alexis Rone. He's got to be the superstar of the show, but I think, you know, a guy who's got pretty close to Rone and what he accomplished tonight has got to be Dominic Cardone, 21 years of age. He was in the teen nationals a few years ago. He lost a nail biter, basically. I told him after the show, you're going to be a great pro. Little did I know he was going to turn pro in 2 years. It's almost unfathomable. He wasn't even planning on doing the show until a couple days ago. I mean, is this kid a sensation in the making?
Yeah, he's his strength is his quads and standing relaxed in the lineup from the front and back. He's got tremendous width from the back and really good width from the front, and he's got a lot of flair and a real small waist. What's just got to cook a little bit longer is the pec development and the back depth, which, the
women just love to walk through our lineup.
Which, will probably come, will come with just additional years of training. But
Dominic Cardone almost didn't win the heavyweight class. They rejudged at night. He came back way better. He won the class, almost won the overall. I mean, the kid's got a ton of energy, a ton of potential. What was your impression?
I would like to see. I thought he was my pick to win that class, or at least it was very, very close because it was a pretty close class. But I would like to see him a little tighter in the skin. That's he still has some of that youthful skin that still tends to.
Is it a lack of muscle maturity? Him only being 21 years of age, even though he started very young as a bodybuilder.
I have a sneaky suspicion it's a combination of two things. It's a combination of a lack of maturity. He still needs a little bit more, maybe a few more years to really develop some more tissue and to get that sinewy look, that really dense look. But also, I think he might have had a little bit of water in his skin in some little small areas, or just have been a little soft, not quite as full and tight as he could have been. Although in some shots he sure hit it well.
Let me put you on the spot. Kevin Jordan, who was our overall champion last year, would he have beaten Dominic Cardone?
Yeah, he would have. He would have, as terrible as he is. I'm just kidding, Kevin. No, Kevin is still. I love Dominic Cardone's physique. I love that he's 21. I love that he has energy. But where he almost lost prejudging and where he lost the overall is he still has a very young body to certain body parts, pecs and back.
He's a tall kid, so he's going to take a while to fill his frame out.
Yeah. Keyword is kid. We're not going to be talking about him as being a kid 2 years from now. Sure. So when you compare him to a Kevin Jordan, who's got more years of training behind him, Kevin's got more depth he just got more depth. There's more depth coming off the back. There's more maturity. There's more pecs. So, but in terms of it, they're a good comparison in that they're both wide and both have a nice V taper to them. I'm
going to predict in 2 years you'll see Dominic Cardone win a pro show. That's my prediction. Let's talk about women's bodybuilding, where Susan Smith wins the women's overall, gets her IFBB pro card. They were calling her the Whitney Houston bodybuilding. She had the big Whitney Houston hair. Obviously, a terrific tiny waist. She had the striated glutes. She just has the beautiful flowing physique we'd love to see all women bodybuilders have.
Yeah, absolutely. She retains a lot of the femininity and a lot of the beauty and those really nice classical lines and really nice physique. And not overly muscled, not unduly muscled. It's all really right, put nicely. And I thought the hair was just awesome. It was totally awesome.
Chris, I know you're a big fan of her physique. What did you like about it most?
That she's beautiful. She told me, she came up and said, Dave does my diet for me. I just want to introduce myself. I won the women's bodybuilding, and I said, congratulate. I thought you won women's physique. Oh. And she said, women's bodybuilding, and corrected me. And I said, you won women's bodybuilding. And I said, it's...
she has crossover appeal, definitely.
She has crossover appeal. She just has, she has good muscle, great shape, she's in great condition. And yes, her beauty helps.
Yeah, and she's an anesthesiologist too. Imagine that. What a combination.
She could have gone to work for Michael Jackson had still been here.
I don't think she would have given him the propofol now. Let's talk about the women's physique division, where Marcy Simmons wins that division. Chris, you and I discussed Marcy. We said, she looks almost bodybuilder-ish along the Juliana Malacarni lines. We were trying to take bets on who was going to get right how much weight she squats. You said 225. I said 315.
225 for reps.
I said 315 for reps.
She corrected you and said what?
420.
Yeah, she said, and she's women's physique, and she said she came from where?
Track and field.
And powerlifting.
And powerlifting.
She holds powerlifting records, and she won women's physique.
She's looking to deadlift 500.
Yeah, and then you asked, I said, you know what, this girl's a natural talent, and I said, I told Johnny Styles, I bet she hasn't done more than 2 shows, and you asked her how many shows she's done? 1.
Well,
She
this
did
is her
1.
second. Yeah.
This was her second show.
She qualified, and then she did this show and won her pro card.
It's kind of funny because I think I've talked to several women bodybuilders and physique athletes who come out of, and also fitness ladies who come out of a real athletic background instead of just working out like guys do.
Let me ask you a question. Let me put you on the spot. I happen to love her physique. I know Chris did. Is she too much for women's physique? Is women's physique getting too big?
I think women's physique I think her physique is just about where I would like to see women's physique be. I don't
not bigger.
But not bigger, not bigger. And certainly not more striated.
Is women's physique evolving too quickly?
If
I mean, we're bodybuilding fans, but is it?
If there's a glass roof or a lid, we're okay. But you know what? She's a special talent, very unique body. But I can see people out there who are competitors saying, "Well, she's big, so I got to get big," and they get big in not a good way big.
Right.
So she can get this. Some people can get away with it.
She wears it well,
and many who can't and don't wear it well. So you always have to be careful with where you move the sport. But I agree with Tad. For me, she's I haven't seen any. I get as excited about her as the first time I saw Juliana Malacarni.
Yeah, I think she's going to be challenging Juliana Malacarni in that Olympia.
This
coming year. Let's talk about Logan Franklin, our men's physique overall champion. He's another one. 2 shows, Tad. He's a pro. This kid is a real talent. I know he works with Kenny Wallach for his posing, and he came out of nowhere. No one expected him.
I've never seen him before, but he looked fantastic.
He's kind of like a friend of Sadiq Hodzivic's.
Okay.
And
of course.
he says he's going for his first pro show. He's going to be challenging Sadiq at the New York Pro. So it's kind of going to be like teacher, mentor, student.
Yeah, well, good luck on that one. I'd say. I mean, I sort of, I like, good luck.
What do you like about his physique?
Well, I mean, like most of the guys, he has the right kind of muscularity that I like from men's physique. Some of the guys are either a little too big or a little too small. They're either too pretty or they're not pretty enough, and it's kind of like he's right there where he should be.
Logan tells me he used to be a model, a physique model before he did this, so he feels very comfortable on stage. I know you used to be, right? Yeah, cover of ND. And he tells me that this is his life. He wants to be on that Olympia stage. He wants to be the Olympia champ, and I think he's got a really bright future.
I agree with Tad twice tonight. Everything else I disagree with you on. But he's the right level of muscularity, which is good. I mean, he's muscular, and and he's got the right look, and
And did you see those legs?
His
He's got.
legs.
You think men's physique guys don't have legs? This guy's got Jay Cutler legs.
No kidding. I thought you were kidding when you said show him your legs, and his outer head. It's not a sweep. It's like a tumor on the outer head.
They're
and
all
it's cross-striated.
He's got
Say it
cross-striated.
again. 1, 2, 3. Cross-striated.
He's got cross-striated triceps too. You should see this kid. He's just amazing.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Sadiq is my favorite men's physique guy, and he's the reason I think that I became a fan.
Right.
I discovered him on. It's called
Right.
Instagram. I have it.
Chris actually has it. Yes. Yeah.
Since April. And I
You just have to learn this.
no,
Yeah.
I saw.
I made him get an iPhone.
Thought it was a bodybuilder from Europe or something, and little did I know that he trains with Dave at Steve's gym. But this guy reminds me of Sadiq too, meaning he just got very clean lines and very full muscle bellies, and it's just a killer look.
Let's talk about figure with Samantha Smichko. Another one. I hate to say it. Another 2-show wonder. I mean, she wasn't even planning on doing this show. Her coach at the last minute says, "Hey, why don't you do the Nationals?" And she comes in here after qualifying last week in Jersey at the last minute, and she wins her pro card. I mean, Chris, is this a statement basically saying that genetics basically is a very, very prevalent factor?
1, 2, 3, genetics. Yeah, you know what? It's great to have genetics, isn't it? You know what? I thought today that
some somewhere because I'd like to have some.
Yeah, I certainly didn't get a great hand of it. Yeah.
there's some people who are at the nationals year after year, and they're right close to the top. And really, no matter how hard they max out, there's someone comes with the flow and the
Talking to me or something? Was that?
Is that a cheap shot? He took a cheap shot at you.
You know, it's wonderful to have genetics. You know, you have to have genetics, but you know, this is. Just
I did the USA Nationals 46 times and didn't get my pro card. She did it once and she got her pro card.
Yeah, well, you know, I think she's got a great future. You know, she's got the genetics and. You know, she's got the flow to the physique, the muscle, everything else.
I think usually, and we usually talk about this at shows, there's usually like one or two standouts, but there were more than that in this show.
Oh, a lot.
I mean, and that's unusual for a big national show like this, I think.
So Miami Soft doesn't apply.
Yeah, it doesn't.
No.
Not in my
I think Peter McGuff needs to get his eyes checked. You know, that's all I know, because I don't know where that came from. Jesus! Let's talk about the bikini division, guys. Laura Conlon did not do 2 shows in Turn Pro. She's done about 8 or 9. She had to work for it. She's doing her master's degree in like nutrition and exercise phys. Yeah. I mean, here's a really talented girl who came in here and really wowed a lineup that was stacked with a million bikini. Bikini had to be the biggest division in the show.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Well, between that and men's physique.
True.
There are a few men's physique classes.
I heard between the 2 of those divisions, that was 50% of the show.
Easy, hands down. Although this year, as we noticed, that bodybuilders, I think, doubled the size of the classes.
Yeah.
But definitely there were a lot of, it's hard to say, I would like to say that there were a lot of standouts in bikini, but half the class looks so beautiful.
I think they're all beautiful. I can't even tell.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what does
They're
make
all champions, Joey.
Laura Conlon is obviously tall, and I think sometimes the statuesque girls in the overall tend to stand out more, and that's what the judges tend to get. That's what the eye catches their eye.
You've always said that, and you're typically always right. And you know, I agree. You know, a lot of times you see the bikini, and even if you're not really into it, you say, okay, this girl won this class, this girl won this class, and even though you might not think that the tall class winner or the tallest girl is going to win, she might not have the best body. When they put her next to everyone else, stature helps, plays a role.
I'm going to ask both of you the same question. When we assess national competitions, the NPC nationals, in the long run of things, is this one of the better ones or one of the worst ones from the perspective of the men's overall champion, Alexis Rone?
One of the better. He's one of the better that we've seen in the last few years, I think. And
what about in the history of the show?
Well, it's really hard to say. I don't know, but you know, I will say this: in terms of the level of depth in the nationals and the numbers for men's bodybuilding, this was a very impressive year, and it was exciting to be at because you know, people came, so to speak, out of the woodwork, or Puerto Rico and Miami, and you know, lit up the stage with great conditioning, great muscle density. So in terms of that being a success, I think it was a huge hit.
All right, you avoided my question. Alexis Rone, in the scheme of grand champions since heading back to 1982 when Lee Haney won for the first time, where is he? Top 50%, lower 50%?
He's in the top 50%, but at the bottom end of that 50%. I think he, while a great champion today, and in today's bodybuilding climate, it's one of the best national shows.
He might be a better champion in the future, is what you're saying.
Right, but there's been, I think of guys like Kemler Rone and all these guys who's won nationals. Mike Francois. I mean, exactly. All these guys stick in my mind.
Sean Ray. I always
even guys who didn't.
I gotta throw him. I gotta throw him up there before I throw him under there.
Well, Alexis Rone, you are the men's overall champion, the first Puerto Rican of all time. That's a historical mark. Congratulations, and congratulations to Steve Carroll for throwing another tremendous NPC Nationals, and Lonnie Teeper for doing a great job on the MC, as always, even though he was losing his voice. For now, though, we are out of time. I'm Dave Palumbo with Chris, the technician, Aceto, and Victor the press. Come here, Victor. What are you doing here?
I'm ready to eat. What do you buy, you guys? Your food is ready.
I guess that means it's time to go. And Tad the Diet Coach for RxMuscle.com. Jesus!